see how we went from this stump to just a pile of ashes in 2 days. This stump is a little too tall to burn. Let's cut it back before we get started. Prior to burning, we decided to dig down to the roots. Though this was the most labor-intensive part, I think it really helped it burn parts of the stump below ground level. Next, we add some cross-cuts to the stump, which we take all the way down to the major roots. This will allow that fire to breathe from the inside of that stump. Also, we added a good amount of vegetable oil to really get this thing cooking. Once the vegetable oil is soaked in, we topped off the stump with some lighter fluid to give us an easy light. Quick note, we lit this thing off soon after we dug out around the stump, so it really wasn't given enough time to dry out. However, the longer we would have waited, the higher the odds it would have gotten rained on. Plus, we didn't want to have to look at this thing any longer. If you're going to drench the stump in flammable liquid like we did, obviously don't use gas or the stump won't be the only thing on fire. Although we managed to capture captivating footage of the burn, we would have implemented a slightly different approach, knowing what we know now. You'll see here in a minute or so why this is not necessarily the best method to burn out a stump. At this stage, the roots did not burn that well. We'll be sure to put the heat on them later though. A couple things I think we did right was adding the vegetable oil and making those cuts with the chainsaw to allow better airflow for the fire. As we can see, the rotted portions of the stump caught fire and disappeared with ease. We started adding additional wood to hopefully burn those greener parts. If we had to do this again, we would include a metal drum with holes or some kind of opening for airflow to better contain the heat. The remaining portion of the stump was the greenest part, and a barrel placed over the stump while it burned would have helped cook out any residual moisture. Since we didn't have a barrel or a drum, we used some of the coals from the inside of the stump to start a fire on the roots. You'll see that we were able to put a char on the outside of the stump, but that's about it. Some of the footage is a little blurry due to the heat. Throughout this process, I had to consistently move the camera so it wouldn't overheat. Also, we had a fan blowing